long that'll take. In the meantime, I could just use this board. Just for the record, State's Exhibit 1 is being published and available for the jury to see during the witness's testimony. And may I inquire?
Yes, you may.
Ms. Jeantel, you see State's Exhibit 1 that appears to be a map, do you not?
Yes, sir.
I take it from your testimony you don't know what that is.
No, sir.
So I won't ask you to identify anything if you don't know what it is.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but I do want to talk with you about where we left off before the break, and
Yes,
that was at the moment.
May I object to that exhibit being on, since this witnesses can't identify what it is, there's no purpose in this exhibit being.
Are you going to be questioning about the exhibit?
Your Honor, I want the exhibit on so the jury can put this witness's testimony in the context of what has already been acknowledged to be the community retreat at Twin Lakes.
Okay.
So what I'd like you to do, ma'am, is pick up at the point where we left off before the break, and that was when Trayvon Martin began to run and the phone disconnected. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You knew that he was running at that point because you could hear wind?
Yes, Mr. West. Yes, Mr. West.
Mm-hmm. So not only had you told him to run, but you believed that he was running.
Yes, sir.
And that's when the phone cut off.
Yes, Mr. West.
And then about 20 seconds later, you reconnected and you were able to talk with him.
Yes, Mr. West.
And you don't know where he was exactly at that point, correct?
He had told me he's in the back of his father's fiancé house.
So what you believed at that point was that when the call reconnected about 20 seconds later, he was already at the back of where he was
By
staying.
his father's fiancé house.
By the back of the father's fiance's house.
Yes.
That's where he was staying.
Yes, sir.
And while you didn't know where that was, your sense of it, your belief was that he was close to home.
Yes, sir.
So after he reconnected, that's where he said he was.
Yes, sir.
And then did you continue to talk with him?
Yes, sir.
And I know you think that's where he was, but what could you tell by his voice at that point?
Breathing hard.
He was breathing hard. Okay. Are you
Tired.
sure? Are you sure he was breathing hard, or that might have just been wind noise from the signal
No.
on the cell phone?
It was him breathing hard.
And
He sounded tired.
he sounded tired from running?
Yes, sir.
That was your impression.
Yes, sir.
And that he breathed hard.
Yes, sir.
And his voice changed too, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
It got kind of low,
Yes, sir.
almost like a whisper.
Yes, sir.
And then he continued to talk with you in that voice for a couple of minutes.
Yes, sir.
And about a couple of minutes later, he said he saw the man again.
Yes, sir.
And he saw, what he told you was the man was close to where he was.
Yes, sir.
And that's when Trayvon Martin decided to say to this man, Why are you following me for?
Repeat your question again.
A couple. Could we have that read back? Sorry, I've lost track.
Is the question or the answer?
My question.
And that's, okay, and that's when Trayvon Martin decided to say to this man, "Why are you following me for?"
Right.
Yes, sir.
And he didn't say it, why are you following me for?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He didn't say it, why are you following me for? He said, why are you following me for? Didn't he?
No, sir, not that kind of way, sir.
It was just a question. Hey, mister, why are you following me for?
He didn't say, hey, mister, why you following me for? He just asked a question, why are you following me for? And the man replied in the breathing voice that, what are you doing around here?
We've already been over that, what he said and what you said, he said. But
Yes,
let's
Mr.
focus on
Your
that.
Honor, she's trying to answer the question.
Did you finish answering your question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ma'am.
You may ask your next question.
So, however, you'd been talking to Mr. Martin on the phone for a couple of minutes at this point.
Yes, sir.
He was talking kind of low, in a whisper,
Yes, sir.
and he said he saw the man close to him.
Yes, sir.
And then he decided to say to the man, why are you following me for?
Objection asked and answered.
This will be the last time that's asked.
Yes, sir.
And at that point, you heard a response of some sort.
Yes, sir.
Either, what are you talking about, or what you doing around here?
What are you doing around here, sir?
And that's when you heard what you described initially as a bump.
Yes, sir.
When you talked to Mr. Delarianda on April 2nd, down at Sabrina Fulton's home,
Yes, sir.
at one point in the interview, you said to him, so the last thing you heard was some kind of noise like something hitting somebody. And your answer was yes. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Like something hitting somebody, correct?
A bump, sir.
I'll say it again. So the last thing you heard was some kind of noise like something hitting somebody.
That Trayvon got hit. Trayvon got hit.
You don't know that, do you?
No, sir.
You don't know that Trayvon got hit.
He could. He had.
You don't
to.
know that Trayvon
He-
didn't at that moment take his fist and drive it into George Zimmerman's face,
Please lower your voice.
do you?
No, sir.
What you heard after that, though, when you talked to Mr. Crump, was nothing else. That's when the phone cut off.
Yes, sir.
That's what you wrote in the letter, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's what you told Ms. Fulton earlier in the day on March 19th.
Yes, sir.
However, on April 2nd, when you were talking to Mr. Delarianda in Sabrina Fulton's home, with her sitting next to you, when Mr. Delarianda says, okay, when you heard that noise, something hitting somebody, You didn't, did you hear the man say anything, or did you hear Trayvon say anything? Remember that question?
Yes, sir.
And up until that point, you had never told anyone that after this hit, that you heard anything else, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you said on that day, with Miss Fulton sitting next to you, I could hear a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And you said that I could just hear, like, I guess, like the headphone, because the headphone he might got off. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Delarianda said, okay, what could you hear? And you said, like a little get off some stuff.
Yes, sir.
And that was the first time you'd ever said that to anybody, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Delarianda said, could you tell who was saying that?
Yes, sir.
And you said, I couldn't hear it was Trayvon. I couldn't know if it was Trayvon. Something like that.
Objection improper.
If you have what she said, you need to read that.
I have to play it. I can't, the transcript isn't accurate enough because of the way it was said. We can mark that and maybe come back and play that.
Can I read it, sir? Can I read it? I'll tell you what I said.
If it has my notes on it, you can disregard
I
those.
don't need your notes. Just let me read it.
I'll see if I have one, I think. We can play it, Judge.
She's asked for the transcript so she can tell you what she said. I think that we should try that first.
Okay. It's a multiple page transcript. Let me find the one.
I've got a transcript.
I've never seen that transcript. Do you have an extra copy of that one?
I've got a clean one right here.
I don't know who prepared yours.
I'm sorry,
If I could, I don't mind looking at it.
I have a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, you may.
Well, we'll take them both up there. How's that? May we do that?
Yes, you may.
May I have personal witness, please, since we're showing the order, sure.
Yes, you may. Please don't block the view of the jury or get too close to the witness.
Ms. Jeantel, this is a transcript, I believe, of that part of the conversation we've been talking about that I was referring to. And then this is the same part of the conversation from the transcript that Mr. Delarianda had. Would you just take a moment and look at the pertinent sections of each of those? Yeah, take your time. Have you had a chance to look at those?
Yes, sir.
So, does that refresh your recollection? Do you remember now what you said?
Yes, sir.
What is it that you said?
I had said he had asked me to make it clear.
In the microphone, please.
All right.
He had asked me to make it clear. I don't understand what you had said.
Make it clear.
To make it clear, did you said that he heard get off? I had said, yeah. I heard Trayvon saying get off a little bit. So as I was calling his name.
No, the question was, didn't you say to Mr. Delarionda on that tape-recorded interview, when he asked you if you knew who it was, you said...
It was Trayvon. I heard him.
I know that's what you're saying today, but I'm asking what...
Objection, improper impeachment.
If you'll read what she said on that date, that would answer that.
I'm going to read both of them, because there's an issue on that. I thought the witness could straighten out. So, according to this transcript that you just saw, when Mr. Delarionda said, could you tell who was saying that, you said, I couldn't hear Trayvon.
I could hear it. You read the next page, sir.
I got that, but I'm talking about this one now, correct?
Yes, sir.
On the transcript that Mr. Delarionda has, in that, your answer was, I could have heard Trayvon. I could have heard Trayvon.
Objection, improper, read the whole part as opposed to only
You want to
part.
complete her answer, please?
Oh, sure. Could you tell who was saying that? I could have heard Trayvon.
I could hear Trayvon.
Could have is what this says.
Trust me, they messed up. I could hear Trayvon.
What you said was, on that recording of that interview that you had a chance to listen to within the last couple of weeks, you said, I could...
Stop. Again, one at a time. You need to finish your answer, and then you can ask your next question. Don't ask your question while she's trying to finish her answer. Complete your answer, and then we'll have the next question.
Because my voice is low, I had told him I could hear Trayvon. Can you read it? Just read it. You
Right.
can finish reading this, sir.
On this transcript, it says, could you tell who was saying that?
I didn't write
And the
that.
transcript here says, let me finish
I did
reading.
not write that.
Okay,
I
you
know.
need to do the same thing. Wait till Mr. West finishes his question before you give the answer. And the reason I have everybody do that is because the court reporter can only take down one person talking at a time.
Yes,
So,
sir.
listen to the question.
So, according to this transcript, it says, could you tell who was saying that? And your answer was, I could have heard Trayvon. Mr. Delarionda said, I'm sorry, as if he couldn't hear what you said or understand it. You then said, I could have heard Trayvon.
I would ask that the,
And
thank you, could read the next half the page, which gives us a complete answer as to this issue.
well, there'll be lots of opportunity. What I would like to do now, though, Judge, is play the recording and let the jury decide what this witness said.
Is it in evidence? Is it in evidence?
I don't think it was pre-marked as in evidence, but we can offer it. We just want to play that part to see if it refreshes
I
this.
understand what you want to do. My question is it in evidence?
No.
And you don't think it is. Then it needs to be marked for identification. The state needs to say whether they object or not, and then I'll make a ruling as to whether it gets admitted. So if you want to take a moment to have it marked, you may do so.
Your Honor, what we, okay.
May we approach the bench, and I'd ask that we approach with the transcripts so the court can read the actual transcripts in that part of it.
You may approach the bench. To take up a short matter outside of your presence, so if you'll please put your papers, notepads face down on the chair. Seated. Has it been marked?
So the last thing you heard was some kind of noise, like something
Yeah.
hitting somebody?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you heard that noise, something hitting somebody, did you hear the man say anything, or did you hear Trevon say anything?
I can hear a little bit.
Okay, what could you hear?
I could have just hear like it's like the headphone, cause the headphone he might got off, but I could still hear a little bit
Okay, what could you hear?
like a little get off some stuff,
You heard get off?
like a little get off. Now
Okay,
I call
that-
it
That
like
makes- Could you tell who was saying that?
I couldn't know Trayvon.
I'm sorry.
I could have heard Trayvon.
Okay, you're all right.
And your question to Ms. Jeantel is?
That she said on the recording that I couldn't hear was Trayvon, or couldn't hear Trayvon, or could have Trayvon, whatever you can tell us that said.
Your Honor, I object this not a complete in terms of this witness being able to hear, because the next part, she clears up what it is. The answer, they have cut it off midstream.
That's true, Judge, but the theory is that Mr. De La Rienda walked her right down the path, suggested things to this witness
Okay.
under the circumstances that she just followed along and agreed to.
I asked you, what is your question to this witness?
What did she say? What did you say right there?
I could hear Trayvon.
I could hear.
Yes.
Let's play it again.
Did you hear the man say anything, or did you hear Trevon say anything?
I can hear a little bit.
Okay, what could you hear?
I could have just hear like it's like the headphone, cause the headphone he might got off, but I could still hear a little bit
Okay, what could you hear?
like a little get off some stuff,
You heard get off?
like a little get off. Now
Okay,
I call it
That makes- Could you tell who was saying that?
I couldn't know Trayvon.
I'm sorry.
Stop. What exactly did you say there? Would you just tell us exactly what that says?
Could hear Trayvon.
That's your testimony?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I understand the answer, and I want to play it from the jury and let them make up their own mind what she said.
Okay, any objections to this being introduced into evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the objection?
My objection is she's already stated what it is. I guess they're trying, the interpretation or defense is arguing that this say something different.
Okay, please approach. I don't take speaking objections.
I apologize.
before the jury comes in, just.
I guess maybe we have an agreement then for this purpose.
Okay, thank you. Let's bring the jury in.
Let's be sure there's no technical issues, if we could just hold for 1 second, swear.